World government is in very, very deep shit. I don't normally use, quote, profanity to describe things, but when the shoe fits, wear it. A rose by any other name is still a rose. Well, the New World Order being in deep trouble by any other name is still the same thing. World government has been constructed by a consortium of less than 20 banking families who have openly announced their plan to establish a one world government based on an anti-human, post-industrial, globalist ideology. This is such a triumph over them that all their hoaxes, all their lies, all their disinformation saying none of this planetary government stuff exists, the fact that all their propaganda has failed shows how much trouble they're in and how much credibility they've lost. Herman von Rompuy and other former heads of the EU have openly admitted it's a world government. They write editorial articles calling for planetary government and carbon taxes. But then they think you're so ill-informed and so stupid. They come out on the news and say, tinfoil hats, none of it exists. There's no ruling elite. Nobody's screwing you over. It wasn't enough to get trillions in banker bailout money when they engineered the financial collapse 2008. They want 100 trillion every decade in carbon taxes alone. Just Google that. Davos Group wants 100 trillion in carbon taxes every decade. You'll get the London Independent. You'll get their statements. So I love it. I want to congratulate the whore media that has a 6% trust rate in Associated Press poll, and the Congress that has a 9% approval rating in Gallup polls. I want to congratulate you for cutting your frickin' noses off to spite your face. People don't believe you, they hate you, they disdain you. That is thinking people, real liberals, real patriots, real pro-human folks, not the fascist-controlled left or the fascist-controlled right. You people are an intellectual joke. You run this con game saying none of this exists when it's out there in the open. And despite all your fear-mongering and stealing votes and all your scams, England voted to leave the EU. And even if Scotland tries to block it or other shenanigans happen, the genie's out of the bottle now. That an unelected group in the last few decades got UK under its control and the UK never had an election? That's coffin nails right there. Then you're tax exempt, the bureaucrats are, and the parliament is ceremonial in the EU? What the hell? You've got a parliament that has no authority and permanent bureaucracies that are set up by the elites that created it? And the wives of these guys and husbands are the only ones that are allowed to own factories or run things? I mean, it's the new royalty. And the world's rejecting it. The world's waking up. The industrialized system came in the last 250 years, had a lot of innovations, a lot of problems, but a lot of good things happened. People kind of got to, hey, let the experts run it. Hey, you know, I'm just going to have my little job here. But people are now realizing that the technocracy is destroying the social contract. Because we've had problems, but for the last 60 years, globalism didn't really exist like it does now. It was kind of like old-fashioned colonialism and robber barons, and, you know, we had some problems, some crony capitalism. But this viral, technocratic, centralized, anti-human garbage is so evil, it's now being recognized as the new Soviet threat, or the new Hitler threat, or the new Napoleon threat, or the new threat by the Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun. You now have entered the political lexicon of even the brain-dead public, of the unelected megabanks. And Nigel Farage is the biggest leader in Europe, talks just like me and comes on the show. Donald Trump is now coming out against world government and the megabanks and comes on the show. What we're doing is mainline, and you just panic and you freak out, and the Village Voice and the New York Times and the New Yorker magazine, all the last 2 weeks, literally roll around like dogs, pissing on themselves in fear, going, oh my God, his narrative's getting out. He's influencing. I'm not influencing anybody. I went and read the globalist documents. I play clips of them on the air, and then I show the New York Times, after I play 14 clips of world leaders calling for world government, I show you saying it doesn't exist. You're the one discrediting yourselves, you dumb bastards. People like the sincerity. They like the reality. They like the fact I got a multi-million-dollar studio, and I'm out here in the parking lot of a restaurant about to go eat dinner with my family after I worked all day on Sunday fighting tyrants, and I'm just here talking about the reality of what's going on. It's real. Deal with it. I don't follow teleprompters. I don't sit there and shake in fear of the bureaucrats and everybody that wants to act like they're part of the establishment and get on CNN or get on Fox News. I used to go on those channels some, but never kind of liked it. But the last 5-6 years when they call, I just go, I'm not going on your stupid channel. No, I'm discredited when I go on your channel. I act like I need you when I go on your stupid channel. You people don't control reality. I love Trump pissing all over political correctness and not caring what you say about him and just criticizing you and degrading all you arrogant, filthy liars that think you're God. World government is degenerating. World government has the jitters. World government's being discovered. World corporate government. We're used to armies coming invading, not corporate bureaucrats. Agenda 21 taking over our farms, our ranches, our communities, shutting things off, picking winners and losers. The globalists shipping illegals in and turning them into political weapons. All of it's coming out. All of it's being exposed. All of it's being revealed. And it's such an exciting time to be alive. So I want to congratulate all the patriots and all the anti-globalists who've been fighting so long and being ridiculed, but didn't care because you cared about liberty, you cared about humanity, you cared about justice. Alex Jones, looking at you, man to man, human to human. I don't care what color you are or where you're from in the world, whether it's Mexico or China, whether it's regions like the Middle East or Africa or Eastern Europe or Europe or the United States. I don't care where you're from, whether it's Chile or Japan. I want to salute the dynamic human spirit that refuses to submit. I want to salute free humanity in the Renaissance, and I want to say something. The globalists are scared right now. They better be scared because we have only begun to fight and we're never backing down. Because here's the deal. If the globalists were just taking over with some new, sharper corporate system that was about prosperity and empowering people and cutting out bureaucracy and really getting stuff going, and I could fly anywhere in the world, and you know that fake globalist view of a citizen of the world and all work together and end war and all this stuff. As long as there was checks and balances, I would support a world government project as long as there were still nation states opting in and out to stop war. You sold it like that, but you're the ones giving North Korea the reactors, both parties. You're the ones arming everybody. You're the ones funding the Arab Spring. You're the ones starting war with Russia. You're the ones selling weapons everywhere. You're the ones genetically engineering and endangering the planet. You're always claiming it's you that want to save us when you're a bunch of Dr. Evils, meet Dr. Strangelove, meet the bad guy that runs Spectre and James Bond movies. I mean, you people are freaking nuts. You're endangering everybody, so I'm just fully committed against you. People wonder why I'm so fearless and so aggressive. Because, I mean, I flipped on my human instincts, my survival instincts. And you people are absolute pieces of garbage. You know, I never used to use, I never used to use Anglo-Saxon language. That was just when the Norman came in and took over England. They said, don't use words like S-H-I-T and all the rest of it. And they misconstrued it with fake Christianity and said that you were taking the Lord's name in vain or doing a curse if you said S-H-I-T. But I never used to use it because I have a big vocabulary and don't need it. But now because cussing's kind of going out of style because it's become so ubiquitous, now I'm bringing it back. And that's why I try to sometimes even lower myself or debase myself. That's not even the right word. Sometimes I try to just like take my shirt off figuratively and roll my sleeves up and just be real with folks because it's about not being polished. It's about being raw. It's about that first approximation and then researching that first approximation and finding out if it's accurate and drilling into the details. One of the deepest things Donald Trump ever said was, to paraphrase, he said, I used to always overanalyze things, but as soon as I learned to be shallow and just go with my first instinct, that was the deepest moment of my life. And the idiots didn't even interpret how deep that statement was. I go with my instincts, I go with my guts. As I get older, used to I didn't follow it. Every time I didn't follow my gut, I got screwed over and was wrong. Turns out my gut is my big subconscious brain and all the research of my life and all that data and all those instincts and all those ancestors and everything at a first approximation because I'm dialed in and tuned in saying that's what's going on. And then if I go with that first approximation and research it more, I find out it's much deeper and much more accurate than I even thought. And that's where the next level of research comes in. But they try to counterfeit that. They try to put out fake gestalts of false reality, hoping folks go with their false instinct to fool the instinct and go with that lie. But the way you topple the whole system is, once you get somebody to learn fake approximations and first analysis and then slicing from real ones, then that's how you can have a paradigm shift so quick with even a dumbed down public. Because even they're dumbed down from birth doesn't mean their subconscious isn't incredibly powerful and their survival instincts still operating right there in the background, ready to be activated at any moment. And that's what I'm here to do. And sure, I've gotten older doing this 21 years, and now understand what I do is truth-based, military-grade, oratory and primitive, psych warfare. But it's based in truth and in a desperate attempt to take on the globalists and the systems they're attacking us with. So I do fight fire with fire. That's why they're so scared of it. That's why the Pentagon studies it, because it's real. And the real power is understanding history, understanding your ancestors, and being integrated in a worldview that believes in humanity and the true empowerment of humanity, not a fake liberal empowerment that actually turns us all into domesticated serfs who are under their centralized control. And that's what's happening. People realize no matter what centralized system we set up, the more far removed, the more centralized it gets, the more abusive it gets, because the parasites that are building it want that centralized system because they crave control instead of craving turning the true potential of humanity loose. And in their attempt to hamstrung and attack and sabotage humanity's rise, they are sabotaging themselves because there is a blowback in all synergistic paradigms that even if the globalists deny to themselves, they know from the mathematic equations only comes back on them. So I'm trying to save the globalist as well. And that's why at a subconscious level, you are going to support me. You are going to stop what you're doing. You are not going to turn against the species because you have meddled with the tidal forces of nature, Mr. Kissinger. And you will atone.